So anyway, format for tonight. So let's talk about business and starting a business and why I'm so passionate about this subject as an adjunct to investing in shares or investing in property or other ways to build your wealth. Big fan of business, and I'll tell you more as we go through the session, yeah? We'll also touch on, as we go through this, I want to touch on coronavirus and that sort of thing and the opportunities that might be there around that marketplace. We'll workshop it a little bit. If you have got any questions during the session, feel free to ask them. I'm not going to pass you the microphone, but I just might repeat it for the benefit of the people listening at home. Also, as a part of this as well, and I've just asked Don in the corner there, said, look, after I've finished, how about his depth of knowledge and wisdom and length of time in the market in terms of shares, that he talks a little bit about where we are at the moment. We're looking at, 20% down in the Australian market right now, which is very, very serious. Well, very, very opportunistic, depending on how you look at it. But anyway, let's talk about business. So everybody recognise this guy? Yeah. So Richard Branson, yeah, the Virgin bloke, famous for pretty much everything. Yeah, living large, and certainly larger than life. And unless you actually see him on stage, in which case he's not that big. How about this guy? Everybody know him? Now he's built himself some success, hasn't he? Anybody who's sat through one of his sessions knows that Don has done pretty well for himself. All right, so a couple of people there have done pretty well for himself. How about this bloke? This is my story. So I lived on a boat in the Whitsundays for 5 years. Now, as a timeline, let's have a bit of fun with it. So, I got out of QUT at some point. I then went and worked for the man for a company. And then in 1999, I actually formed eCentral. So I started my own business. And so that has progressed, and I'm going to stagger this. This went through to about 2016 when I decided and having done a bit more reading and sort of had a bit of a change of life. Actually, one person said to me, what was the change that happened for you, John? What was the thing that made you different? What was transcendent? What happened in 2016? And it's a bit later than that. It was 2018 more specifically. It's like, why have you got so motivated all of a sudden? I said, I turned 50. And a lot of people will tell you, a lot of successful people will tell you that quite frequently, if you're going to make your money, it's going to be in your 50s. Anyway, I took that to heart, and so I've now seriously changed what eCentral is, my business, to actually, to set some lofty goals around the success of this business. And it's more so what's happened in this time is the part that I like to talk about in this series, or this little session. So, where do we go? So the sort of things I'll talk about tonight is the starting your own business, the benefits, what sort of business, target market, what size business do you want, and just a few things to get you kicked off as well, yeah? But first off, the thing is, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of a business? Can anybody help me out with that? What sort of reasons would you start your own business, yeah? Freedom. Yeah. Freedom, control. Everybody loves control. What was the other one we had in here? Your own hours. More money. We've finally got money on the list. Anything else?
Doing what you love to do.
Passion? No. Or happiness?
Yeah, like you can feel more passion if you do something for your own.
Mm-hmm.
There's no motivation. When you're working for yourself, you're more motivated.
You don't have?
You have more motivation.
More motivation. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're doing what you... so you're motivated, yeah?
So doing what you love to do.
Yeah. Any others?
Sense of achievement.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, definitely. Big tick the box for me there. I can't do anything that I don't feel empowered by or that I'm getting gratification. It's actually a bit of a shortcoming in my psyche almost. I do need to actually feel good about what I'm doing. I need to feel acknowledged by my clients. I need to be patted on the back and so you're doing a good job, John. So that's a push button for me personally. So those sorts of things. Anything else?
That's part of your love language.
Yes.
You got it. Was it, what book is it? Thompson? No, Chapman. Thompson? One of the two. I think it's even on the shelf.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, you got it. So there's one other there that that probably rates and mention as well. I mean, we all like the idea of these, yes? And it's sort of, it's an adjunct or comes from one of these.
Can probably better your community.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. And we'll talk, we'll even around that for me, is my community is my people. So I have a range of people work for me that I've known for some time and even for short periods of time. But one thing I really like to do is put work in front of them. Put money in their pocket. Feel like I'm doing something. Feel like I'm educating others and I'm delegating work and creating something value for staff as much as I'm for clients. And that community feeling for me is definitely there as well. Anything else maybe as a derivative of one of these? Independence. Well, that's sort of... Don's found it. Don's found it. Thank you very much. Wealth. And that's ultimately, and there's, I think it's there, the E-Myth Revisited is on the shelf. Has anybody read that book? E-Myth Revisited? Gerber? Okay, write that down. Gerber's book called the E-Myth or E-Myth Revisited. No, yes. The E-Myth Revisited is, I take it, the most modern version of that, and that's by I think it's spelled Gerber. You can see it. There we go. Okay, extra points for spotting it. So anyway, that book is very powerful, and that was a meaningful thing for me. So how about the Think and Grow Rich? Who's read Think and Grow Rich? Oh boy. Go stand in the corner of the audience. So Think and Grow Rich. Now, is that up there as well? And who wrote that one? Because that's, for me, is almost look, it's an oldie but a goldie. And it's but you'll see anybody that Napoleon Hill, but this guy spent the best part of his working life researching and then writing this book. So, and this is considered by any sort of wealth creation type person a bit of a Bible. And it sort of says in there things that are a bit spiritual, like if you read this, you will get the message, but you won't see it in the pages. So it's really, you're going, where is it? Where is the golden formula? But I've read it backwards. I've looked, look for the code, but no, you will also see there's lots of words in capitals in there as well. A little bit of a tidbit there. So those two books are probably quite pointed, and this is something I did do I've read both those books 15 years ago, but I didn't get it. I read them 3 years ago again, and I go, oh, there's an idea in that one, and if I adopt the principles of E-Myth, we're actually going to do something. We're going to actually do something big. Because let's face it, living on a boat, yes, I had that. Control, hours, money was okay, happiness was good, doing something passionate. Yeah, I did what I was doing there. Community, not really. Motivated, sort of. Living on a boat, it's very hard to get motivated to do any work when you're living on a boat, I assure you. A couple of missing things there. This one wasn't quite where it needed to be. Community, I didn't have any staff. I was working for myself as a sole trader. I was just doing my own thing. Gerber, in this book, says a very interesting thing. He says, if you start a small business, what are you going to get? Anyone? A small business. So that's what I did for a bunch of years. Let's look at the options. So as I said, when I started out working for the man in a building, okay, worked in a number of good businesses, one particularly good one, but who made all the money there? Who got all the freedom there? Yeah, all this, the guy sitting at the top of this, or people sitting at the top of this, are the ones doing all right. So employees, we get hourly rate. Yeah. And we say, enough of that, 1999, let's step forward. And I said, no, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to, from my house even, I'm going to be a sole trader, which is the classic way we all kick off, yeah? Now, I then went out and sourced, and I've done over 17 years of my 20-year business history. Worked for all these different businesses from time to time. But does anybody see the drama around that straight away? Being a sole trader. Well, to drill down a little bit, there's still this bloke here doing all the work. Doing all the work. And now, now I'm answering all these different people. So now the problem is here. There's certainly a control over what I was charging, but it was an hourly rate, which is effectively what's happening here as well. See the problem? So I don't know where you've heard the term, but it's quite frequently said that starting your own business is you've bought yourself a job. Lots of people say that. You buy a lawn mowing business, you buy a coffee shop, you've bought yourself a job because you're now anchored to that thing and you've got to turn up day in, day out to do what you do to make a decent amount of money, yeah? And it doesn't scale, doesn't go anywhere other than how many hours you put in. And then on top of that, as a sole trader, doing all the paperwork, doing all the sales, doing all the bazzes, you're doing everything. And so there's actually a big overhead in terms of this. So did that for 17 years. Skip that part if you possibly can, yeah? If you're thinking about starting your own business. And what's happened now, and it's a distributed business, it's a digital or marketing and digital agency. So I've got people in the burbs, some of them probably watching tonight. Hi guys. And together we're still working for a range of clients, but it's even the form of this, and then the ability for me to then distribute this work down into the staff that actually, makes it into quite the behemoth. I'll talk about it a bit further, but you see the difference here? Working for the man, working for yourself, or working on something bigger, yeah? And so that's why we talk about that. So in terms of benefits, makes a bit of sense, yeah? Okay. Dealt with that already. Okay, we got all those? Oh, now something here in terms of this sort of thing, and my eCentral. When we're just doing this, I was just doing projects. So like someone actually walked in at night and said, John, how much do you do for a basic website? Back in the day, I was the guy that did any website for anybody for any price. Yeah? So, and that's the thing, like even clients today say, John, where's all your clients from over the years? I said, well, I've done hundreds of websites, but I did them and handed them on or worked for them for a little while afterwards. But ultimately, there's a price tag attached to that. Whereas now eCentral only works on retainer. We only do things where there's a recurring income. Yeah? And that's a bit of an idea around that. And we'll workshop that in a bit. So wealth creation. So eCentral is now definitely worth something because it's got retained business and there's ways at which you work out what that's worth in the future. Tax deductions. Let's talk about that. Now, who's got their own business here? I know Don has, Anne has, everybody else works, yeah? Okay. So let's talk about what happens with your income, yeah? So you get your gross pay, yeah? You then get tax taken out to then end up with net, yeah? And that's pretty much predisposed. Pretty much, you can go get a pay rise, get an extra $1 on there, but you're sure the tax man's going to take one of those back off you, isn't he? For you then to end up with only these many. Now, this is going to Facebook Live, so I'll sort of do the abridged version. But when you have your own business, there's a lot more scope to claim things. Like when I go overseas, I go to conferences, I go to training events. Now, I'll probably have a good time along the way, but those are legitimately business expenses. You know what I'm saying? So the model starts out with, it changed a little bit in this situation, invoicing. It translates into gross income. And then less expenses, legitimate business expenses. We're not doing anything untoward. Business expenses equals net. And then depending on when you do your tax, you'll pay your tax on this amount maybe 8 months later. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? When you, like even at the moment, I've got money set aside, but I haven't actually lodged my tax return from last year. Does anybody else hasn't done their tax? Yeah? Okay. Well done to you. But the tax man's got your money, hasn't he? He's got your tax. Darryl likes holding on to it as well. But anyway, so what happens for us business people is, we have some control about when we hand over that money. And what happens to it in the meantime, hey Darryl? If there's opportunity, we'll actually plug it into the markets or plug it into an investment or something that might yield a little bit of an income between now and the time we actually pay the tax man. And that's completely okay. Let's explore a couple of these sorts of other things here as well. Mobile phones. Now, I use my mobile phone throughout. I use my internet connection throughout my business. So those are claimed as a tax deduction. My motor vehicles. That is, people know how motor vehicles can work when it comes to taxation and your own business, yeah? You can claim depreciation, you can claim mileage. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You can claim a percentage of actual expenses. If you keep a logbook showing that you do use your vehicle for 90% business use, then 90% of your costs are then taken off your tax. So do you start to see what's going on here? So there's telephone and internet, business travel, what else did I mention? Even electricity, vehicles. Yeah, a portion. If you work from home, there's a portion of my rent here is claimed. This is a rental property. And people say, why don't you buy a property, John? I said, well, then it becomes complicated. It becomes very complicated claiming your tax. Whereas legitimately, this place is, majority used for business. So then therefore, I get to claim better than 50% of my rent as a deduction. So minus a portion of the rent. I said, all these things are on a percentage basis. But it tends to add up, yeah? And it's coming out here. So let's make up a hypothetical number, yeah? 100,000 turnover. We've amassed expenses here maybe of 40,000. And so a net profit for the year for our business is 60. And it's on that we're paying tax.
Do you pay yourself?
That's the 60K. That's the 60K. Or depending how I disperse it and whether I'm using a business, a trust, a company or a sole trader. So you work out how you actually dispense it at the end of the year or before. Certainly you've got to pay yourself, aren't you? You've got something to live on. But at the same time, there's a whole bunch of things happening here that are written off. Does that make some sense out of the tax? You're talking to tax deductions there, yeah? The benefits, the other one that I will labour a little bit, and I've already talked about it a bit, is that helping others, and that is in terms of staff and clients. Actually, I've actually become really passionate about that. And there's a reason for that, which I'll probably delay just a minute. And actually, let's go on with that now. Okay, let's start a hypothetical business. Anybody want to hit me with a business idea? Anything?
Manufacturing shop.
Manufacturing? What are you going to manufacture?
Manufacture electronic boards.
Electronic boards?
Yeah, PCBs.
Are you going to do that yourself to start with?
You could, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's do on that. So, manufacture electronics, yeah? So who's going to run that business? Yeah. So it's going to be you, yeah? Okay. And so you're in a GM or CEO role, whatever you want to, whatever you want to name yourself, business owner, director, etc. Okay. In this hypothetical business that we're creating, What are the departments of that business? Anyone?
Sales.
Sales, correct. Before sales, before even anybody knows you're there, you're going to need some marketing. Thank you. And then you've sold something, what are you going to do? I'm going to call it production, yeah? And then after you produce it, what are you going to do?
Inspect it and send it.
Yeah, QA. I'm going to bundle them together just for fun. Delivery. Warehouse. Yeah, distribution. Over here, what's the other thing we've got to do after we send it out? We've got to bill it, yeah? So you're going to need an accounts department. The final one here that I'll just wedge in over the side here to make sure we don't forget it. But there's HR. You've got to pay yourself, yeah? As was suggested. Oh, that's your style, though, Daryl. Not everybody can get away with that, mate. No, I'm a big fan of invoicing in advance, so don't get me wrong. Big fan. Particularly marketing, you've got to get the money down. All right. So our virtual organisation. Oh, sorry.
In regards to obviously, you've got to have the product before you sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, is that in production or you?
Oh, production, yeah, was when we're making it.
Okay.
And that's what I actually like to do now, because there's a really nice, neat thing here. It was a bit of a wake-up call for me as a sole trader. And let's drill down on that. So what do we do in sales? Anyone?
Promotion?
Well, that's more promotion, is more over here. Promote the product, promote the business.
Services.
Sorry? In the sales? Calling people.
Go to events.
Yeah, we're gonna have a website, some marketing over here, emails, to networking. Sales calling. We're going to do some quotes, yeah. And after quotes, what we're going to do? We're going to close them, get a deposit, which the accountant's going to do. The accounts department's going to receipt payments, yeah. This happened on a Sunday afternoon for me, and I just sat back and looked at it and gone, whoa. And we'll get to it very shortly. That's bad enough for sales. There's probably more in there. There's going to be disputes, yeah. Disputes. Marketing. What else are we going to do in marketing? We're going to do some branding. Sponsors, yeah. You named it, it's all marketing, you know. So get the message out there. Productions. We've got to design some product. Oh, actually, true marketing includes product design, yeah? Anybody heard that before? No use making something that nobody wants. You know, famously, and even this equipment's there's a microphone stuff I'm using from Sennheiser. I went to their factory. It's an engineering. It's a fantastic business. Sennheiser in Germany, if you go there, they say you stay for 6 weeks or you stay for a lifetime. But Sennheiser traditionally was an engineering-driven company. And they had a cabinet, a lovely glass cabinet there, of stuff that never ever sold. They produced some fantastic products. Nobody bought them because it was just stuff that people came up with. You know, the engineering department said, oh, look at this cool thing we've made. Took it to market, nobody wanted it. So product design is an important element of marketing, yeah?
Target groups as well.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that's a whole different conversation in terms of marketing. Target markets. Production. So we actually got to solve the problem, yeah? Design products, manufacture, make it.
You have to get the pieces.
Oh, you have to get we have to resource.
Buy the product.
And actually, let's say even put QA. We've got to make sure it works. Packaging. Fill order. And send it over to the guys who, you know, do the warehousing and delivery. Send, you know, the various things you're doing there, yeah? Meanwhile, over in the accounts department, they've got a busy time, yeah? There's all these things. There's purchases, there's orders to be processed, There's banking, general bookkeeping. You do your BAS, so your tax returns. And we haven't even done anything in HR because you're still working for yourself. Okay, a couple of things out of here. Anybody?
What department deals with the, what department deals with the problems after sales? Sometimes they come back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, everyone. No, him. This bloke. He's the one. No, if trouble happens, well, look, probably the salesperson might be the first person to get the call, yeah? Because you're going to ring up that sales guy and go, this thing you sent me, I wanted blue, it came in green. I'm sending it back. And it doesn't even bloody work anyway. So our sales guy is probably going to take the brunt of that, yeah? And then he's going to go over to the production guy and say, look at this order. I printed it out in triplicate. I highlighted with a pink pen to say blue, not green. And this time it had to work. And the production guys come, well, hang on. But the marketing guys told us that we should only make them in green, you know. And then everything descends into pandemonium. So it's actually one thing there, a really important thing in business is to do your level best to get the job right first time, every time. And that should be that's the mantra around every business. Doesn't always happen, and we see it come unstuck. So does that answer that question, Eunice? Cool with that? So anybody spot the problem?
For one person, it's
Exactly. That's what I did for 17 years. I did 50 different jobs, all under one head. Yeah, building websites for anyone for any price. Now, yeah, I had a lot of freedom, had a lot of good times, and I learned a lot, but it wasn't running a very good business, was it? So anyway, this was what happened on a Sunday afternoon on a piece of A4 in landscape, and I was just going, you idiot. You could have been doing this so much better for a long time. So that for me is a prime takeaway. Is that meaningful to everyone? That is like almost the number one lesson for tonight around what I talk about. If you're going to start a small business, what are you going to get? A small business. And it's going to look like that. And that's all got to happen inside your head. So don't do that. Start a bigger business. Have a plan, set out to achieve something, and find people to do these things for you. So for me, it was obvious what to get rid of first. What's the first job you get rid of in this list? Accounts. We've got accounts over here. Anybody else agree with accounts? Would you get rid of accounts? You get rid of accounts? You get rid of sales? You get rid of sales? Well, you obviously don't talk as much as me. Okay. Look, what happens? Well, there's actually even calls. Have had a guy doing calls for me lately. He's happy to invoice me. And I put him through the ringer. I gave him the training and sent him out to make hundreds of calls. And he found us a bunch of people to talk to. Nothing came to fruition, but he certainly did a good job. Yet, let's say. But he certainly did a good job of that. And he was happy to do that as a contractor, to invoice me. Now, that's not ideal because he's drifted off and now the IP in his head is no longer mine to use. So I'm actually, one of the things that I'm trying to do to transform my business this year is start to employ people. Full-time, part-time, locked-in employees. But in the meantime, you can find someone to do that. And in fact, he was an Uber driver. He was driving me back from the city one morning. I was like, what do you do? He sounded really good. The sound of his voice was had a really nice patter to it. Really nice. He was very polite. And I said, I'm a call centre operator. I said, what, do you do outbound? You call people? He said, yeah. I said, would you like to come and see what we do? Can I show you what we have? He was very happy to take that out and start calling people. So that can be done. That can be dealt out. Who's going to do the quotes? Yeah. It's still probably, this is actually something that John still does in this business, yeah? Because ultimately you've got to live up to whatever you've promised. And the quote is that promise, yeah? What else did we have? Accounts. We want to delegate accounts over there. Catherine, pretty keen on that. Well, Well, that's it. Well, there's actually, what can happen is that depending on what it is, like, you know, I still do, I don't do this. There's a person who does that and invoices me. Bank account, that's sort of private. That's something you probably want to do yourself, yeah? So John's still doing that. Purchases, oh man, do I do some purchasing. If you see my Mercedes Sprinter, I love my van, by the way. It's fantastic. It's my mobile office with the surfboard. So purchasing, yeah, John still does a bunch of that. Receiving payments, yeah, that's happening in the bank account, so I'm still doing that. You've obviously, in the end too, you're probably going to do some account follow-up too when people don't pay. And have you got a few stories like that? Debt collection. And there's people that do that for you as well. People that do debt collection. And if it gets really gnarly, you can sell that debt to a business who will just buy it off you. And they say, we'll go after those people. And they'll look at the contract and say, or whatever it is, and they'll go. And yeah, there's companies that actually buy debt because they know that if they harass those people enough, they're going to get a percentage result. Ever been debt collected on? I haven't actually. I pay my bills. Debts, let's put that in there. And I sort of suck at that too. Like I'm a bit of a softie to a point, and then I get really nasty. There's no in between. How do we feel about these other things? Are you going to design and manufacture all your product?
You can offer both services. You can offer design and you can offer just production. If you want to design, you can also do
Yeah. But is there people super keen to do that stuff for you? Are there people coming out of university who are looking for their first opportunity to do a job, do some electronic design and put things together?
When you do electronic design, you have to have some experience. So for the design, you have to do it, but the production, you can.
The production, yeah. So, and this is once again where we get down to the helping others things. I mean, the product as the outcome is to deliver something for a price, a promise that you made, and make a client satisfied. Happy, and here's a key in sales. When you do a sale, you should have the next sale in mind. When you do a quote or when you're doing this sort of work, one of the things in fundamental sales training, if you've ever done anything, is that when you walk into a sale, you should say, Mr. Customer, I'm going to do such a good job for you. I'm going to work very hard for you. I'm going to make sure we deliver on that promise to make a working thing that's blue in colour, not green. Even though it's going to mean us doing something a bit different, we're going to deliver on that because I want you to then tell all your friends. I want to get to a point where you say, this company is so amazing, and I've actually got one of my customers, one of my biggest customer, in fact, will actually call my prospects. How good is that? When you've got a client, they'll actually ring your prospects and say, hey, you should give eCentral a go. They've done incredible things for us. That's pretty powerful, isn't it? And that's a credit to the team. That's a credit to what we do and the credit to the results we get. But anyway, so back to our workforce, our contractors, our staff, our part-timers, our casuals, our full-time staff, the people that come in and do these various things. But look, even in terms of this stuff, I've got a mate who dies to do branding. He loves to design things. He's done it for a bunch of times. There's a bunch of people doing digital. Here's one. There's a bunch of things around here in terms of sponsorships. Always people are happy to go out and hunt for sponsorships, and always people come to you for sponsorships, I warn you. Product design, that's probably something you need to look after yourself as well, to a certain extent, because you want to make sure you can deliver on that promise. The production, as I said, there's a bunch of people. And QA, this is something I never learned for a bunch of years as a web designer. You can't QA your own work. You've got to give it to someone else. And there's people, and when it came to website, how easy for me? It's just like, I've got a few different people that I work with. They just say, hey, can you check over and break? Can you come back when you've broken it? And sometimes they come back way too soon. We got this and this and this and this. But anyway, meanwhile, you've provided all these guys with jobs and work to do, meaningful things to do. And the end result is, I'm actually bored. Can I admit that? I've got so little to do because I've so effectively got down to the part where I'm doing some quotes and did a sales call today, I'll do some follow-up on that part. It's only one prospect. We've only got sort of 1 to 2 prospect clients going at any given time. When we do get them over the line, there'll be some contract negotiations and then heading the production process, to which I'll delegate all the bits and pieces of spinning up our marketing and digital program, and which will all be delegated to a bunch of people that work for me, work around. You know, Mary Lynn, if she's watching, hi, is in Canada. I talk to her for 2 hours a week, and we just potter along. And one of the really nice things that happens when I spend time with my staff, as I take the time and I've come to realise I'm at their service. Does that make any sense when I say it like that? I had this epiphany late last year that I'm, as this guy here, my job is to be at the service of my staff. And it doesn't sound right, does it? You want to think that they're doing stuff for you. But what happens every time I spend an hour with Marilyn, or I've onboarded a new content writer, a new person who's going to write some articles for us, I've spent 2 or 3 hours with her, and I've done some serious brain share, showed how to use our platform. She's eager to do a good job. She's going to get in and do it because she wants to impress. And she wants a payday too. So what's really nice around here is that I do get to share bits of my knowledge, 20 years of digital, 30 years in IT. I get to then share that knowledge with these people across that sort of thing. And then let's face it, there's things that I know how to do, but I simply don't want to do them. And there's other people going to do it better than me. My tax, for instance, or bookkeeping, you know, and the mundane things around that. Don't want to do them. You know, I've written a lot of articles and I've written a lot of content in my time as well as a marketing guy. But I'm not passionate about it. Whereas I've got Corey, who works for me, and he's out in the burbs, graduate journalist. He called me, said, how about a job? Oh, and how about an internship? I said, send me a CV. He sent me a CV. He followed up. He did what he's supposed to, and he followed up and says, hey, did you get my CV? A week later, I said, mate, how about that internship? So, no, you've got a job. You've done everything you were supposed to do. I love that tenacity, the fact that he's got on the phone and found me and got in front of me. So it's like, you've got work to do. And that's just stepped up another level in the past couple of weeks, actually, in terms of what he does for me. I've only met him in the flesh once. That was enough. He's a nice guy, no question. Okay, another thing that's really powerful out of here. So let's have some takeaways here. Don't do it like John. No, don't do it all yourself. Part 2. Place yourself in service of your staff. Place yourself in service to your people. To your people. If you educate them, support them, help them understand what you're trying to do, be a good leader, educate them, delegate to them, do it properly, you won't have to talk to them much. Actually, years ago, here's another little anecdote. Years ago, a guy had an engineering firm, heavy engineering, mining engineering firm. He says, and I get it, he was a bit of a bastard actually. He says, you know, one thing he says, I went on holidays for the first time and I was shit scared. I was shit scared that I was going to leave my mining engineering business and go for a long holiday and come back and it's all going to be a mess. It's going to be terrible. Nothing but customer complaints, things gone wrong, bank accounts in a bad way. What did he come back to? They were happy he was gone, I think. When he come back, the fact that he had nitpicked them and checked on everything that they'd done, they just got in and did their job. He come back and they delivered, they were more profitable, they had more money in the bank. He says, I should go on holidays more soon, more often. Yeah. So anyway, that's another thing out of that. Another thing that's a takeaway from here, how about if I rub out that, name any other business. Anyone. A business you work in. What's the business you work for, Wayne? Oh, not Wayne.
Developer.
Yeah.
Yeah, building a software.
Software.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're a software business. Does this still fit? And what do you got yourself? Cleaning business? Does this still fit? So see the magic in this? You can take a BMW dealership, get them to sell ice creams tomorrow. It's the same business. It's the same model. They're all kind of identical. There's going to be little nuances in terms of the actual specific operations. But if you end up with a model for this, you don't even have to stop at one business. You can start 2, you can start 3. And that's what you see entrepreneurial people do that. Fold back to Richard Branson. Done on a global scale with thousands of staff, hundreds of thousands of staff across many different businesses, all that share the Virgin brand, but all fundamentally do this sort of stuff, yeah? Make sense?
Is there a point when you're first starting out that you have to do it all yourself because there's not enough, I guess not enough sales to go around, but once you build it, once you scale it, then you can
Yeah, sure,
branch out?
sure.
Yeah.
And kind of, it's your baby, and it's kind of even one of the things that I've come to realise as I've transformed my business in this way. Because I managed to do this for 17 years, hurt my brain. But when I started to move it out, it was just, I just started to pick things off, found someone to do my bookkeeping. Found a couple of different people to do web design stuff for me. You know, there was even a sparky young girl that was really personable at a barbecue at South Bank that I met randomly. And she was so preppy and so proactively and obviously had plenty going on upstairs. I said, do you want to become a digital professional? And that's the truth of it. I can take anybody and teach them the digital stuff, teach them marketing. And I take pleasure in that, particularly if they're passionate about it. Oh, actually, a little bit of a hack around employing people too. It's in one of the books as well. Everybody got that? Make sense?
John,
Yes, sir.
if you could go back in time, would you do anything differently, or you would just do everything by yourself at the beginning?
I'm not one to lament my past, but in terms
Just
of...
trying to understand if
Yeah.
if you consider what you did as incorrect or correct way to start these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Do we
Look, certainly, if I'd chapter and verse that book, and there's even a point there where it says, start the business with some people, not necessarily your friends, not necessarily relatives, probably people who just share an affinity for starting a business, that are going to be dovetail with you. They're going to do the stuff that you don't want to do. Like in this book, because it's American, they talk about people being the VP of sales, or the VP of accounts, or the bank account, or something like that, vice president. But if you actually start the business with a couple other people and say, come on, let's take on the world, let's do something amazing, then if you more start with this in mind, with something big in mind, it's more than likely going to get a better result. Now this, sorry.
people with no salary expectations?
Well, a lot of businesses start up, and it's one of those other things, actually, I don't know if I get to it, but we'll touch on it now. When you start a business, be it buying a business or buying a franchise or kicking off anything, there's always this suggestion that you need to invest a lot of money, yeah? Now myself with a digital agency, what do I need? Anyone want to? Yeah? Yeah? Internet? Phone? Yeah? A chair? That's it. So, someone want to hit me with a budget?
No warehousing, no nothing like that.
I buy identical 5-year-old, there's one probably lying around here. Everyone in my business has got one. Anybody that does stuff for me has got one. A Toshiba Z930. It's an ultra book from 5 years ago. They weigh a kilo. They run Windows 7 like a scared cat, and they have everything you need. They're $300 each on eBay. $300, and they look pretty cool still. They're a kilo each. And actually, I bounced one in the van the other week and stopped working. I was going, oh well, throw it over the shoulder. Fell off the chair, and just took the hard drive out, put in another one. I'm away again. In fact, I did this with the one that didn't work, and it came good after the fact. But so anyway, $5,000 to start a digital agency, tops. Yeah. don't spend any money unnecessarily. Yeah. Don't spend any money unnecessarily. In fact, Don, how much does it cost to start a mortgage broking business?
I don't know what it is now, but when I started, franchise fee was about 26,000.
Okay, but you can do it on your own, yeah?
You could.
It's harder, I know. I tried. So let's compare a couple here. Digital agency. In fact, let's workshop a couple. So let's talk about mortgage broking. And Don went for a franchise, yeah? So let's say that's probably a bit more now, yeah, Don? Well, actually, the old mortgage broking industry is a bit of a lame dog at the moment, isn't it? Oh, yeah. But start from scratch, man. Really? What else do you need? You need a cert, whatever?
Yeah, you need
You need to spend about 4,000, I think, on an education, internet, phone.
do some training.
Definitely need a car. You're going to go see people in the home. But it's night time, so you could have a 1997 Corolla, yeah? Or maybe something.
I think mortgage choices are wrong. You're not supposed to go out in a car older than 5 years.
Oh, is that right? Is that a rule?
I think I saw that somewhere.
Do they know about your car? No, yours is
3 years.
yeah, yours is younger than you've got a newer CX5 than me. Anyway, so look, the dollars involved there is not everything, not out of the thing. Let's have let's workshop some other businesses. Someone who's got a cleaning business. How much does it cost to start a cleaning business, Anne?
Vacuum cleaner,
Okay, yeah, mops, vacuum. Got a car, a 1997 Corolla. Corolla, wagon. The wagon's got the wagon. You wish. Hatchback maybe. Anyway, it's not a lot of money, yeah? How about acquiring clients in the first instance? You want to share any secrets of where you found your first clients?
really through friends, so just cleaning and
Hmm.
yeah, and word of mouth around the area that I live.
So how much did you spend on that?
Oh yeah, nothing.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Yeah, a couple of coffees.
She supplied the coffee.
Oh, there you go. So our coffee. So that's the thing. So zero marketing budget, some equipment, and a 97 Corolla or something akin to that. Sorry to make fun of that, but
I remember reading a story back in about 1975 about a 15-year-old in Sydney. His father had hired one of those machines that just knocks up the topsoil of your lawn.
Oh yeah,
Like a roller and had a little thing on the back to drop fertiliser behind or something. His father hired it for the Saturday and he did the lawn about half an hour. I was going to take it back and the son said, "Oh, let me take it down the road. I might see if I can earn a bit of money from the neighbours." And he had every neighbour he went to say, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, go through and do my yard." And he did so well out of it, he went and hired the machine himself the next week, got his father to go and pick it up. And he did it all year, and in a year he made 35,000 profit.
there you go, and that's back in the day.
Saturdays and Sundays.
So there's an example of even just hiring equipment,
Now,
and away you go.
yeah.
Now, actually, Anne sort of stole my thunder a bit here because when I talk about the different sorts of businesses you could start, I'm actually a big fan of cleaning businesses because it's going to be a bit of hard work. It's not going to be that much fun, maybe. Is it that much fun, Anne? I don't know.
I like
Well, now you go back and see your same clients
I
every.
do, and I enjoy seeing my clients, and I used to clean for older people who would tell me all their stories, and they thought I was the best thing that happened to them since last time I came. So I don't see anyone. So yeah, it's a great relationship.
Anybody else want to throw something? We talked about PC or electronics manufacturer, yeah? I'm sort of got away from the slides. Anybody else want to throw out some business ideas?
Gardening, like lawn mowing,
Yeah, gardening,
you don't need much for that.
gardening and lawns.
I had a student back in about 1980. His name was Darryl, and
What sort of business you started on?
well, I taught him in year 10. I
What? Oh, hang on. This is an anecdote, yeah?
Yeah, and I ran into him, I remember at school, he used to work hard.
Hmm.
Maths, I call him maths. And with a lot of hard work, you get about 20%.
20% math.
Yeah.
Now, you saw him in Indooroopilly Shopping Town like 5 years later.
That's right, yeah. He just couldn't do maths.
And what was his story then? Where'd he got to?
He kept trying. And he was very likeable, everyone liked him.
Hmm.
Blonde haired kid with a big smile. And I ran into him about 9 years later in Indooroopilly Shopping Town. He recognised me, I didn't recognise him until he said the name. And he said, "Oh, you got time for a cuppa?" And I said, "Yes, I went up to food court." He said, "So what do you do when you leave school?" He said, "Oh, my results were terrible, no one will give me a job."
Hmm.
I put an ad in the paper saying I've mowed lawns, chopped down trees. And I said, "How'd that go?" He said, "I was inundated. Before long I had 6 employees and I bought trailers and chainsaws and mowers and..."
Yeah. I've got an arborist.
And I said,
He owns everything he's got.
Yeah.
Everything
I
he's
said,
got.
"How's that going?" He said, "I sold that for a big profit after a few years."
Hmm.
I said, "What do you do now?" He says, "I've got a fleet of 20 trucks."
There you go. So anyway, other business ideas on the floor? Let's throw a couple of ideas around.
Accounting business.
Accounting business? And what sort of accounting business? You're doing general tax?
Tax, yeah.
Tax?
Library, sort of stuff.
Anyone else want to throw their business ideas? We've got
Home renovations.
home renos.
I'm always asked by clients, "Do you know someone who can do home renovations?"
Okay, builder.
Yeah.
Not so big on that, and I'll tell you one in a sec. So know a few builders. Training company?
Trading.
Trading. What are you trading? Trading shares?
Everything, import, export.
Oh, okay.
Different countries.
Import stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the retail market as well, yeah, you're bringing in stuff to sell retail. For example, just give me one product.
Masks.
Oh yeah, you've skipped ahead. Okay. Let's have some fun with these. Now, there's ones, actually most of these fit. Most of these are kind of like, but let's talk about target market, yeah? Target market. So, who's your renovation builder working for? Homeowners, yeah? Yeah, investors. We've got the marketing business. I'll talk about mine. We actually work for other businesses. And you might hear people call that B2B, business to business, yeah? B2B. So and specifically in there, I work for tradies, yeah? There's my target market. Cleaning. And
The rich,
commercial.
not too rich, because the too rich don't pay what you want.
Rich,
You want to charge.
not too rich.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, probably. Not around the gap.
The gap is, okay. There's too far to the bank from there and there, you know. It's like it's too far to walk.
There's also tenants at the end of their lease.
Bond cleaning. Don't ever go. I was going to say, don't ever do bond cleaning unless you hate yourself, yeah? Yeah. Now, we'll get to the punchline in this for a minute. Stick with us, Eunice. You're on the right track.
I'm gonna need one company soon, like in a couple of months.
Yeah, Anne's not doing it, man. You can ask her. She's not doing it. No, but we'll get to a point about that very shortly. Electronics manufacturer, yeah? So who are your clients?
Well, designers and engineering firms.
Yeah.
Designers.
Engineering firms. And you're obviously keen on that. You're passionate about that, and that's your skill. I know that's specifically true, yeah? And I know a range of people that are electronics engineers. They're all pretty cool, very smart people. Gardening and lawns. Who are you doing your gardening and lawns for? Anyone? Yeah.
Real estate,
No, real estates.
homeowners, renters.
I'm just going to go RE, homeowners.
Well, the rich, but not too rich.
Accounting and tax.
I go B2B as well, business.
Yeah, you prefer B2B. You're not doing Personal tax?
Too small.
Too small? Okay, good response there. Masks, who are you flogging them to?
Distributors.
Everyone in this room. Distributors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to actually sell them through distributors.
Yep. Also B2B, like them from suppliers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Amazon.
Yeah, what you got to do for a roll of toilet paper right now?
Help
If anybody nicks my toilet paper, I'm coming after you, all right? I've got 6 rolls, going to last me the rest of the year. Okay, so we've got some target markets. And we're sort of getting into a bit of marketing here, but I hope you get a point around this. Let's look at number of transactions, yeah? Number of transactions. And do people know what I mean by that? Anybody want to have a go? Number of transactions, like how many times you're going to talk to these people and how frequently. And that's actually say / frequency, yeah?
Not doing the job.
Well, how frequently are you going to talk to them? How frequently are you going to work for them? You're doing a renovation? Number of transaction per person? 1, yeah. Marketing business, monthly. And this is the difference, yeah? See the difference here? My business, I went from being the guy that did any website for anyone for any price. I never saw them again. They got their website. Poof, off they go. I now only work on monthly retainers. Cleaning. How often are you cleaning these houses, Anne?
Recurring.
Weekly?
Weekly, yeah.
Weekly.
Fortnightly or, yeah.
Electronics? You're going to build up a bit of a client base, yeah, that come back for different projects. What sort of frequency would you hope to see them again for another project?
At least every month.
A monthly thing? Okay, very good. So you're gonna own the IP. Got a friend who's a small business. He's in electronics, yeah, and he's working on some very significant contracts at the moment. Licensing, actually, nice thing. He's going to build stuff for other people with their badge on it. Gardening. How often you got to do your lawns?
Weekly. Or fortnightly.
You haven't looked at my backyard, have you? Let's say fortnightly. Accounting, tax, B2B,
Once a year, maybe.
yearly.
Maybe twice a year.
I'd say twice a year because you can invest in that.
Yeah.
And to do trading import business, your clients, quarterly, monthly. Just going to abbreviate that to Q&A thing. Okay, looks pretty good. And we're going to immediately get rid of right now. Anyone?
When you only talk to them once.
Every,
It's not a lot of money.
yeah, but every single month you've got to go and find more.
And it's 100% hands-on.
Yeah, and when it's renovations, every single job is different. Yeah, it's drama. I know some renovation builders, and they're pretty smart cookies. They also work very hard.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the windows that they put on the front don't match the windows on the front, and they said, no, we meant the ones in the middle, which were a different frame. They don't match the ones, we're not paying. You know, we're going to take you to the QBCC or whatever it is, the arbitration board, and complain bitterly and get you, and even the fact that you've got a complaint. You know, someone has lodged a claim against you in the Queensland Building Council or whatever it is a black mark against you. So it's not real keen on this one. Rest of these, we're talking to these people on a regular basis, yeah? Let's have some more fun around this. Should we put mortgage broking on there, Don? So, residential, yeah, or consumers, mums and dads. Now, in theory, how often do you talk to yours, Don? Every 2 years you should be doing?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I was going to have a monthly newsletter, but I think you'd call that.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably 2 years.
yeah, that you might be actually, on average, you might be redoing something for them. Okay. So anyway, big dollars on this one, yeah? Real good dollars. Might be 200K, 300K, yeah? And there might be some good fat profits in there as well. Also a bit of risk, because you might not get paid. There's quite a lot of risk in this sort of thing. And I've got some very good friends that work in this space. Very good friends, but they're very, very selective with their clients, and they make sure that They do a great job, and they make sure that the money's there to be paid when the time comes. They go find dentists and anaesthetists and stuff to work for. People are some serious bucks. Marketing business. I won't go into a lot of detail, but the money's good. Compared to the guy that did the websites for anybody for any price, yeah? The money's pretty good. Cleaning, mind me saying it's around about $80 or something like that per clean, or is it a bit more than that? And there's heaps of them, yeah? Lots. Electronics, how many clients you're servicing in this this imaginary business?
Project basis, you can go anything up to
500k?
Yeah, depending on how many clients you have.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. So, but they're going to buy the same thing, or they're going to get you to do different things?
Usually when you assemble a project,
Hmm.
you design it, you prototype it, it's working, so you assemble the
Mm.
first builds for them.
Yeah.
And once it becomes big, it goes to China, factories in China. But yes,
Oh, yeah.
The first phases of the project, you have it like to design.
Yeah,
it,
prototype.
do that,
But in theory, you're selling the same thing over and over
yeah.
again.
Over and over,
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. I know lots of people that get into this sort of business, but everything's different. Every project's different, and then therefore they end up spending a lot of money on dealing with, on retooling and creating new projects. So, but if you get into doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to make some serious coin. Yeah. So you've got that. Gardening, that's in there with cleaning. They're in that sort of $100 range, yeah. And you're going to mow like you've never mowed before, yeah? And you're going to make those people happy. Actually, there's a person I used to network with, and one of her team on the mowing, he prided himself on how straight he could push this mower up and down. He says, I've got the straightest wheel tracks in the business. He really prided himself on that sort of level of accuracy. And when it comes to tree trimming and making them into round balls and stuff like that. How about our accounting business? Talking to them twice a year.
You probably charge them a monthly fee.
Yeah, okay.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, so and that could certainly add up, couldn't it?
Mm.
Still got to do a bunch of work here.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch of people behind this business. Trading import and mass specifically. Now that's actually nice, isn't it? You can do tons of them. You can do hundreds of thousands. You can demand and whether you can get supply. Yeah. So this one here is pretty good, but there's always that thing is like in marketing. There's that thing. I remember back in the day we learnt this in uni. It was like, is it imperfectly reproducible? And I'm still not sure what that bloody means. But what it means is there's lots of people can get masks out of China, yeah? What makes you special and different, or those masks special and different, that's going to make sure that people continue to come to you. So, yeah, that's right. So there's always going to be someone cheaper, that's trying to pinch the business off you. So anyway, out of those, they're actually looking pretty all right, aren't they? Not looking too bad. We struck off our mate, the renovation guy, because he was, none of us are builders for a start. We wouldn't know how to do this. We've also got to get years of experience and go to a trade to make this happen as well. So take a... Yes, Eunice?
Did we check the last one?
Oh, mortgage broking. So he's doing stuff for consumers. He's talking to every 2 years. But I don't know, what you're happy for me to... Oh, well, you have to disclose this anyway, don't you, Don?
Yeah, probably $2,000.
Yeah, it's a sort of commission annually per client.
Yeah, return.
Is that a successful one or something?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Mm.
Plus there's a trail which gets ongoing, so it's like ongoing
Mm.
support. You're the bank manager.
Yeah, because Don, you probably don't mind me, because you have to disclose this stuff anyway these days, is there's a trail, so a commission payable every year that loan lasts is payable to your mortgage broker. And that's why a lot of people, I had to go at it. The paperwork, Don, how do you do all that paperwork, man? And it's gotten worse since I even tried that. That was that interlude. There was that bump when I came back from sailing and stick websites. Never want to do another website ever again, yeah? Anyway, look what I'm up to.
Actually, how many people per month is good in mortgage?
Oh, deal a week? 2 deals a month? You're retired. Go on, admit it. Lazy. No, you're lazy.
I used to do something
Wow, really?
A month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Almost one a day. But then I got, let's say, I'm not slack, but I didn't want to work as hard, so I stopped advertising. A lot of my business now is just coming back every 2 or 3 years.
And referrals?
Yeah. Happy customers refer you. That'd be the same at home renovating, the gardening.
Mm.
If you do a good job, they're going to tell people.
Mm.
Oh, I need a cleaner.
Yeah, applying that.
I need some home
Yeah,
renovation.
applying to what we said before. If you do a good job as a builder, you're going to have more people calling you. Marketing, yeah. I've got a guy, one of my clients actually rings my prospects. Cleaning, word goes around, doesn't it? Electronics, do good electronics, and they fix work every time and their price is right, they're going to come back. They're going to refer other people. You're going to find other ones like them. All the way down the list. So, and that's another sort of takeaway from this. And I've already kind of said it, but you want to make sure that within your business, you do a fantastic job every time. If you've got a complaint, you deal with it. You suck it up. You give them money back. You placate them. Do what you can to maintain your reputation. Because particularly in the online world, I can assure you, we do a lot of work for clients to keep their reputation sparkling, absolutely shiny on the internet. It's a major part of what we do. Plenty of takeaways there, yeah? Make sense? How are we going for time, by the way? Anybody got a time for me? 8:11. Oh, I'm going hard today. How generous of you. One thing around, I'll sort of summarise around this. As I said, I was the guy that did any website for anyone for any price. How generous was that? Incredibly so, yeah? You can't operate in that level of generosity. The simple thing I've got to say, and I'm not asking you to become mean, stingy, and an arsehole. I'm just saying, just pull back a bit. Value yourself in this transaction. And it's actually that kind of that thing, you know. Is there a great deal, is there an enormous difference between a Louis Vuitton bag and something you get in Big W? What's the difference in price? There's so much to be done in perception. So even around this generosity thing, if you go and say, oh, look, it's a fair price in my mind, I think that's what I'm worth to do a website, I'll be happy with that. Now, the truth is that people, you should be fishing out in terms of your sales role and your marketing roles, testing to find where the market's at. And even a hack around that, like even when I was mortgage broking, had enough of that. And so what am I going to do to step up from that? So next thing I did is I started doing computer repairs. And I was that guy I was just doing stuff for the people, friends I know, fix their computers. 30 years in IT, it's blindfold stuff. I can do it easy. Doing $50, $60, $100. And then I went to $150, no fix, no fee, with a Google Map place where people just rang up and said, oh, screen's cracked, bring it in, $150, no fix, no fee. And then they all wrote me reviews on Google. I got 89 5-star reviews on computer repairs fast, based here. The phone still rings, but I don't answer it. No, actually, I've given the SIM card to a guy who used to work for me. So he's now taking the calls and doing that job as well. But in the end, as I said, I went from $50. So I started nice and cheap. And all these people are writing all these Google reviews. Oh, this guy's great, does a great job. Price is fantastic. I went to $250, no fix, no fee. And what have they read? John's a fantastic guy and the price is right. So they brought the jobs in, I did them. And there was all sorts of weird stuff that come in. And there are certain ones that come, I go, oh, no, Mac, I don't do Mac. But anyway, so in terms of the generous thing, I'm not saying don't do, just sort of saying don't do yourself a disservice. And don't be surprised what people are willing to pay for your cleaning or your electronics or your accounting skills or your masks. Particularly if they've got an LV on them or something like that, yeah? How much would the LV mask then? Is there such a thing? A Louis Vuitton doing bloody...
It'd be great.
Wouldn't it? Well, actually, let's stick with your initials. What are your initials?
Normal.
No, what's your initials? So what was your name, sir? Leona, and your last name? Tongue.
TNG.
So LT. The LT mask, not the LV mask. You want some LT masks. So anyway, we've created a product tonight. We just want it stitched in a similar way. Anyway, look, let's wrap up around this. What opportunities write a list that judge much harshly on the nature of the target? Look, we've done all that. Market size, returning customers, easily done by others. We question the mask thing, yeah? easily done by others. And I've put in a little corona mask. Maybe it's even a wrap-up thing because I'm kind of dumb with words. Around coronavirus, what would be some opportunities? What would be some things? We've already got masks. How about if you came up with some recycled toilet paper you could make out of waste A4 paper or something? Anyone? Anybody made toilet paper before? You got close. You tried to make toilet paper.
We were close to getting business off the ground.
Making toilet paper.
What was left over from where they put the sugar cane? Converted that. I think that was something like
50 cents a roll I was buying.
You have trying to do it at scale is another thing. In the service industries, which is something I love helping out service industries. I actually rang one of my clients the other day. I said, "Look, you're kind of tooled up for it. You've got the gas masks and the sprays and the stuff like that. How would you disinfect a house or a business to get rid of the coronavirus?" He says, "Yeah, I know the product to use." He says, "Yeah, it kills 99% of bacteria, viruses, and even pollens and what's the other stuff that floats in the air? The spores from fungus. Kills 99% of those things, some sort of nanoparticle or something like that." At the moment, if you busted it out, I bet you if you put something up into the internet space and offered a service to actually disinfect. Now I'm challenging myself to spell it. Anyone? Yeah, clean virus out. Don't ask the IT guy to spell, all right? Of houses.
your wife will have a spell check.
Now that's the thing. I'm lazy. Anyway, so if you could spin up a business doing that,
And put coronas in your what do you call it?
or your calling card.
No, your keywords.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, is it? One of my clients said. They said, for every $100 you spend, big blackboard out the front of the business. For just taking the piss. For every $100 you spend, we'll give you a roll of toilet paper. And they've said it to me, going, "Oh, that's genius." And I said it to another client. Says, "I wouldn't do that. That's too soon. Come on, that's just taking the piss, you know." But anyway, I thought it was hilarious. Is it? Can anybody else think of some coronavirus-related opportunities?
Online teaching, education.
Oh, yeah. Well, even there's going to be some people at some sort of scale. There's going to be in-home care, yeah. Isolation solutions. Well, that's the new role for all these empty hotels and stuff like that, yeah?
Whatever you need, we'll get it for you.
Yeah. There we go. I think it's called Uber Eats, but I don't know, that stuff never arrives. Mine never turns up. Well, the neighbours always get it, you know? It's like cold and upturned, you know? It's like, anyone else?
Invest in the stock market.
Well, I'm going to pass over to Don on that one shortly.
You could probably buy a restaurant cheaply at the moment.
Buy a restaurant? Yeah, well, that's right. Well, yeah, that's it.
I think the big risk is someone probably going to go under.
Yeah.
Due to all this.
Hospitality business
So if you bought a restaurant cheaply and just survive,
purchase.
so it picks up.
Yeah, if you had something in around that space. Cairns, apparently Cairns Council, I don't know, you'd know this for sure, apparently is giving everybody a break from their rates. They don't have to pay their rates for an extra month or something.
Wow. Is that because of tourism?
Because tourism has tanked. Yeah. Same thing, I've still got to pay my rates in Airlie Beach for my places, but same thing happened there. Airlie Beach, despite it being a terrible time for weather in North Queensland in January, February, the Chinese traditionally turned up in their thousands to have holidays in North Queensland. I had a guy living, moved into a room in one of my houses. It lasted a week. He rang up and said, I've got a job with the aviation business here as their Chinese interpreter. A week later, no, it's gone, it's evaporated. I've got to go find work elsewhere. So off he went. So hospitality is certainly in some strife at the moment. So, and there's definitely opportunity in there to potentially buy a business if that kicked around. Anyone else? There's opportunity here. People see drama, I see opportunity.
You've got people losing their jobs,
Mm.
pay their mortgage, lose their houses,
Mm.
all go their property.
Yeah, well, that's it. So property generally.
You're kidding,
See Daryl, eh? See Daryl. Okay. So, look, I might wrap up on that. Actually, I think there's one more slide that sort of really pulls it all together. Oh, let's just kick some things around. So, you guys that are still working for yourselves, one point of your organisational chart. You got that between the eyes, yeah? That was a really key thing for me to tell you. Get an ABN. You just go online and go through a questionnaire. Better still do it with an accountant or someone who knows how to do it. Get yourself an ABN.
After you know what you do.
Sorry?
But after you decided
Mm.
what you want to do, I think, because when you want an ABN, it's going to ask you specifically what sort of business they want.
I don't think it does, actually. I think...
Some people just get an ABN.
Yeah.
So you need a name. You need
Yeah.
a name.
Backpackers can have ABNs.
Company name, yeah.
Anybody can have an ABN.
Yeah.
But once you've got an ABN, you can start invoicing people. Whatever it is.
Yeah, I thought in that particular business you can start invoicing people. For example, if you chose the delivery services, you can only make an invoice for delivery services, not for cleaning.
No. Germany's got some curious rule like that. Maybe Turkey has as well, yeah? But in Australia, you get an ABN, you can invoice for whatever.
Because here in Australia I got one,
Mm.
it was asking me what I'm going to do.
Yeah. They're not going to hold you to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So get yourself an ABN. Every Uber driver's got an ABN. So an old mate wanted to do phone calls with me, and I said, you can invoice me. He already had an ABN. And he was already remitting GST, so he was fully qualified. Invoice or tax invoice, $75,000. The one thing, and this is where you go off and do stuff that's outside the scope of today's discussion, but should you charge GST? Should you collect GST, tax on behalf of the government, and then have to pay it to them? Go get some proper advice about this. If you're doing over $75,000 a year, you have to collect GST and pass it through to the government. Do a VAS quarterly, at least. Xero, it's very popular. There's other software that's free or cheaper or freebie out there. MyOb's a bit old school. Zoho. There's another one called Wave, W-A-V-E, if you're looking for one. That's actually got a free platform and should be actually listed on this. You get a business bank account. You need to deal with your risks. Make sure your insurance. Make sure you're compliant. Don't get yourself in trouble day one. Start reading and seek out a mentor. I've mentioned a couple of book titles. I've done a few more. All right. Marketing, sales, people, psychology, how to run a business, Both of Richard Branson's books. Nice reads, bit soft on for actual business ideas, but there's plenty of others. Seek out a mentor. There's people out there who'll take you on, and they just like the sound of their own voice, or they tend to think that you've got a connection with them. They run a successful business. Seek them out. Say, can I ring you up occasionally and get some advice off you? They're going to be flattered by that mostly, and they're going to do it. So they might charge a fee for it. Another way you can go is business coaches for a fee, do their thing. And the other one, I've already touched on that, spend as little as possible. Particularly in the current climate, you want to make sure you just keep your money in the bank account. Don't go out frivolously buying Ford Rangers and investing in this and that and the best of everything. Scrim and scrape. As I said, the computers, even today with a successful business, we still use computers that cost us $300 each. The one I want's $2,000, but I'm not going to buy it. Don't need it just yet. Any questions?
May I take a photo?
You may take a photo, yes.
Do you use subcontractors or not employees?
At the moment, everybody's invoicing me, and I encourage them. I say, look, and that's sort of the trade-off and the trade-off I make in my business. Say, look, you're welcome to work for others. You work your own hours. You're welcome to subcontract. You don't have to. If you can find someone to do this work for this price, and you keep a margin, do that. Be an entrepreneur, please.
There's
Yes.
one thing, as a business owner, having employed people, how does it work between employing someone on a contract and having a subcontractor? What is better for you? Like, what are the benefits?
Oh, well, as I said, my business still the way it's structured at the moment. I just get people invoice me, and their suppliers.
In having them with contract, like as an employee?
Well, if they're actually employees, and that's the thing, go back to the altruistic part of like developing people, keeping your intellectual property in your business, building value into your business. Actually, it wasn't even touched on here. We didn't really do it. But if you've got a business, and there's another one. Actually, there's even a nice. It's a one was given to me. It's a guy just said the business legal life cycle. At some point, as your business grows, you've got funds to do it. You've delegated all these tasks, but then you start doing patents. You start doing legals. You start locking down everything with nice, neat contracts. You take out trademarks on your names and stuff like that. And ultimately, you want to try and keep the people, that you've taught all this knowledge to, that you've delegated all these jobs to, you want to try and have them stay in your business for as long as possible. You build them a career path. Say, one day, son, you're going to run this business. Stick with me. And that's where your leadership skills kick in. Now, not everyone will stay, but I said Sennheiser, beautiful story. I said that the business I went to, and that Sennheiser over there in Germany, and there's a couple of German business like that. Gore-Tex apparently is like that as well. 600 employees in Sennheiser in 4 or 5 different sheds on this old farm where they kicked it off just after the war. Old man Sennheiser's passed on, but you walk the corridors there, and it's no matter whether you're a cleaner or a manufacturer or you're someone on the loading dock or the CEO, everybody says hello. There's that sort of corporate culture. So, and they've then embraced that. They've got all that kept inside their business. How valuable is that? If you can keep some employee with you for a lifetime, what's the value that they're going to give to that business over their lifetime? Make sense? So ultimately, and I said, one of the things I really want to do this year is start employing people. So rather than just being sort of extended and floating around and casually working for the business, and always a possibility they're going to drift off or take the knowledge I've given them and take off, actually build them a career path, actually have them stay in the business long term.
How do you pick the right people? Or how do you...
Oh, yes, that's something. Let's do something. Okay, there's actually a book on that subject, or a book that had something on that subject. Couldn't tell you which one it is back here, but there was a study done on startups in Silicon Valley. Okay, so these startups, they're well funded. They've got some seed funding, maybe $1 million, $10 million. Who knows how much money's been given to them? But they've got all these millions of dollars. And company type 1, let's call them, they hired on CV qualifications. Yeah, qualifications. Okay. Type 2 hired on experience. Does this make do you understand exactly what I mean by this? Yeah. This person had software things. This person had experience in that particular type of software, what they're doing. Type 3, a huge believer in this now, and it's certainly paying dividends. They employed based upon commitment. So they might take on people that neither had the experience or the qualifications, but they had commitment. Who survived? Commitment's the big winner. That's the hack. They really, really want to work for you. And they've shown you that they work very hard. They want to be in the business, and they want to help you get to that milestone. That's where leadership's coming into it. You want to make sure you recruit people that when you say, let's go take the hill, let's go make $1 million, they go, yes.
Where do you find them? How do you advertise?
They make themselves obvious to you. I've got some wonderful people work for my business.
How did you start?
Well, Corey rang me up, says, I'm looking for an internship. He was ringing me out of the blue, and he'd run every digital agency in Brisbane. Is that commitment?
That's not the norm though, is it?
Exactly. So is he committed? More committed than anyone around him? Any one of his other journalism graduates? I said, send me your CV and ring me next week. He rang me next week. Is that commitment?
How did you find your others?
Oh, Mary Lynn, I've known for 8 years. She just had a sparkling online reputation. Met her in Early Beach. She came through as a traveller and worked for me and just showed that she just knew her stuff and was passionate about it, and she continues to show that today. Donna is my virtual GM for the business. I've known her 20 years. She's been in and out of my life a number of different times and been amazing for me. So I know that I can trust her with anything. Who else have I got on the team? There's Alex has been in and out a couple of times. He's a workhorse. He actually slaved to work. You know, he really gets stuck in and gets the job done.
Where did you find him?
Working around the corner of the computer store, actually, in the computer second-hand place.
Okay, so you just offered him a job.
He came to me. I dropped by, buy a mouse and a keyboard, $5 each. In fact, he got to the point he just gave them to me for free. But one day he says, "This stuff you do, how can I learn that from you?" And I go, "I'm not telling you everything I know." He says, "No, I'll pay you." I said, "No, you can't. Not for all the tea in China. Not for all the masks in China." And I'll come home and I go, I should offer him a job. Young Sarah that worked for me for a period of time, met her at a barbecue in South Bank. And she just obviously had the right thing. She had the right approach, she was this happy disposition, obviously had plans about what she wanted to do with her life. It said, "How would you like a laptop lifestyle? You want to come and try this on?" Now, it didn't work out, but she worked extremely well. I taught her from scratch as a school leaver to being a very competent web designer over the course of 8, 12 months, somewhere around about that period anyway. So they're out there, they're going to show themselves. Test them. Even after they've shown themselves, put them through the hoop. Put them through the ringer. See how they go. So sorry Dorothy, I'm going to send you out to see my worst customer. This is a test. See how you go. Well, you told Dorothy you're sending out the new girl and to be extra nasty to her. Ring up your worst customer and say, "Well, we got another one." Now make sure that dog does that thing again, you know. Whatever it takes. Look, you're never ever going to get it right, but there's certainly signals, and you'll get to appreciate them when people show themselves. And that's even where around my business. I don't mind building my business organically. If people show themselves, ring me, come to me, say, "I love what you do," then I'll try and find some way to scrimp, keep them somehow interested, and give them something to do. Say, "Look, stick with me, I've got something in mind." So if you've got those people come along, you try and do something with them. Make sense?
I look at those and I go, type 1, big business, type 2, medium business, type 3, entrepreneurial business.
That is a good thing.
That's why I look at it.
Yeah. And someone said to me about contractors before, I said, "I don't mind if they drift off." I said, "Go work for other businesses. I'm not going to be overly keen on you, but if you go become a big success because of something that I gave to you, some knowledge and some inspiration I gave to you, then I'm good with that too." I've got to be, because I'm invested. As I said, I'm in service to these people that work for me. I'm in service to them, whatever that might be. I'm investing in not just their current, but I'm investing in their life.
Do you need a cleaner?
Hey, what are you saying? Hey, as I said, you look at my backyard, I definitely need a lawnmower, yeah? All right. Anyway, I think that's about enough for now, yeah? Any other questions? Yes, Yunus, come on. In Turkish this time. No, I'm only kidding. In English, okay, not that good.
A couple of my friends, they tried starting their own business, but they all ended because of the same reason. They spent so much money on advertising and they didn't get the income that they were expecting. So is there some special formula?
Yeah. Get eCentral on the job.
Percentage to spend on advertising, or because it's not always the case.
Should I do this offline, or do people want to hear the answer to this? Some marketing 101. Does everybody want it? Okay, I'll keep going. Marketing 101. I was in Bali at the development seminar session thing, and I said, can I do my thing? And the old mate said, Adrian, great mate. He says, yeah, after dinner. I go, well, I better come up with some content. Here we go. Marketing 101. Everyone in the marketing industry is out to steal your money. Every single one of them. Who's the biggest perpetrator in that game? Who's the biggest thief in the world? Google, you got it, everyone, okay? So in terms of a funnel, well, that's not quite a funnel, let's do it with a bit more of an angle, let's look at the various ways you get business to come in. Google, in my book, hey Larry, are the biggest thieves because they run this scam called ads. Now, the value proposition I have for my tradie clients is I say, I'm going to get you off ads, and some of these clients, pest control, say for instance, in the heat of summer, will be paying $12 per click for a pest control or termite job. Pool cleaning, so another one. There's a number of other industries. When I first bought ads for a charter company, we paid 9 cents back in 2001, I think it was, per click. We were able to buy clicks for 9 cents each. Now, because this Google Ads is a worldwide 24/7 auction for the top of search results, one pest control business might come in and say, we'll pay 13. So who appears at the top of the search? The guy that's willing to pay 13. So it's a worldwide 24/7 instant auction for the top of search results. And this stuff, it just keeps on spiraling up. And that's where we come in, because we say, we're going to do other things to get you on search results. That where people are going to find you, they're going to come to your website, they're going to read what you've got to say, they're going to call you. So, and that's the field of SEO. Everybody knows what that means? Search engine optimization. So you build yourself a website, and the 101 stuff of this is you write articles, write case studies, news, articles, and you just build out your website. One of our clients, in amongst the range of things we do for him, and it works very effectively for him, is an arborist of the Gold Coast. He's the top at search results. He's got a great reputation. But in addition to that, and the 101 stuff here, is we've done poinciana tree care, bamboo removal at the Gold Coast. He hates doing bamboo, by the way. He says, stop it, no, I'll do a bit. Palm trees. He loves climbing palm trees.
So when someone says, I need to remove a palm tree,
By rating case studies to talk about, so in a PCB business, you're going to write about the air conditioner controller board and how it's using less power and how much more efficient its life cycle is longer than the rest, etc. So you're going to do case studies about the project you've done. Or actually, in this section here, in the advertising space, Facebook is also trying to pinch your money as well. The other big perpetrator here. Facebook advertising has never been value for money, as far as I'm concerned. Same thing goes for LinkedIn. Same thing, they're running these pay-per-click scams. They're just taking money off your credit card. The worst instance of these is where people misconfigure. They set up their ads campaign badly, and it just siphons the credit card. Rolling ads for, I don't know, a plumber, but playing them in the US to people who are never going to get their product in. And how did it all start? Anne's drifted off. Where did you get your first clients from?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Just someone you know is going to give you your first job, probably. And once you get them on board, then they're going to pass it along to someone else, and to someone else, and to someone else. We're really big, really part of what we do. If you're a coffee shop, arborist, tradesman, cleaner, gardener, you get yourself a Google My Business account. You know, where you appear on the maps. So when you do a search for plumbers, and they'll say, this guy's got 112 five-star reviews, and you ring him up because he just sounds amazing, and he is. That's because he's built his online reputation through Google My Business.
What's Google My Business?
Exactly. Yeah, you set up a listing. If you go home and Google my business, set up, and it'll lead you into a process. Yeah, you'll start out. They'll say, "Where do you live?" We're going to send you a postcard. What's the name of your business? A couple of details. What's your phone number? Website if you've got it. They'll lead you through a process. I'll be happy to do with that over the phone sometime for you. I'll be pleased to, because it kicks ass. And you get people to write your reviews. So you actually, do a great job, and these people are working for now, and these people here, or any transaction you do through any of these systems, you make sure you turn it around, particularly in the retail or service industry space, get a review every time you possibly can. And I've got businesses, as I said, I've got actually arguably the world's, if not the universe's best self-storage facility manager is right here in Caboolture. He's got 230 reviews for an average score of 4.9. There's no one else like him on the planet. But is he an amazing storage manager? He's pretty good. He's a cool guy. Talks a lot. Very likeable bloke. Probably watching. Great guy. But his effectiveness is he's just very good at, thank you very much, customer. It's been great to have you here. Just one more thing before you go. Can I just show you, not ask, doesn't ask for a review, says, can I just show you how to write me a review? What's the soft sell in there? What's he saying to do? He didn't ask for a review, but he says, can I show you how to write a review? He didn't ask for a review. Because you ask for a review, people don't want to do them. And we've got various ways and means and hacks around that. What other ways are we developing leads here? Anyone else want to throw some more up there? Word of mouth. We do newslettering. We do send out bulk emails on behalf of our clients. We like going to trade shows. We think that's a good thing. The Brisbane Home Show was just on. There's a termite suit in the front room here. We had some fun with that. I was Terry the Termite at the home show. Just for shits and giggles. Do you see me there? Did you see me in the termite?
Yeah, I saw you.
In the termite suit. Did we get a photo together?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, fantastic. Can you make sure I get that? Don't have enough of them. Trade shows, blah, blah, blah. Networking. My relationship with BNI, Business Networks International, runs hot and cold, but I'm still an enormous advocate for it. Every Wednesday or Tuesday morning or wherever they are, and there's one at the Waterloo Tavern, there's one at the Paddington Tavern, there's like 20-something chapters around Brisbane. BNI, Business Networks International. Costs you $1,500 to join first year, $1,000 every other year. You got to turn up every week. And you hang around with a mortgage broker, with an accountant, with a cleaner, a gardener, a bookkeeper, you name it. There's a marketing guy was in the room until last week. Actually, two. But what happens is you just network together and you develop a good business ethic. You're with these people. You're held accountable for what you say you're going to do, because they're going to refer work to you. They're going to find people that want what you've got. They're going to just watch out. They're going to be out there just, someone comes past them and says, oh, I need a mortgage broker. You don't know a mortgage broker? Yeah, I know a fantastic mortgage broker. So it's a network that proactively looks for referrals. And it works. It's a substantial part of my business. Substantial part of my business is brought about through BNI. So look it up. Business Networks International. It's more about service. It's more about the sole traders of the world. More about mortgage brokers. There's always a mortgage broker. There's always a financial planner. There's always an accountant. There's always a website guy. Everyone. So there's always those ones that always got. But then there's some left field. Like you go to the one I've been attending, acupuncturist. There's one with dentists. There's one with architects. There's always normally architects in them as well. So there's a range of people. And they're non-competing. They're not your competitors. They're people who you can bounce ideas off. They're people that get up and do a 10-minute presentation for which you walk away smarter about that industry and what you should be thinking about. And that regimented week in, week out thing definitely works. I started doing that about 3 years ago. Look at the difference it's made.
Have you been turning up for 3 years?
Yeah, I did for 2 years. And this is interesting. I went in as a computer guy and then went in and going, look, these guys need marketing. And I know something about marketing. So I switched it up into marketing. Took a little while for us to understand where I fitted in. But after some time, it made sense. Picked up a couple of clients out of there. And then got too busy. So I actually dropped out. And then it's like, oh, I kind of miss, being a part of that every week, because it's good for the psyche, I get up in my suit, go along dressed up as a business guy, have breakfast with a bunch of like-minded professionals, you know, from different industries. And yeah, that regimented approach definitely made a difference. So let's actually put it up there. So networks, yeah? And the pointy end, and there's a variety of them. There's key business, KBN, key business networks. There's also chambers of commerce. Not a big fan, honestly. It's BNI. Worldwide, 9,000 chapters. Actually, here's a wind-up anecdote if no one else has got any questions. So when I went around, after my 50th, Dom was here for my 50th, and after that I got on an aeroplane, went around the world to see a bunch of friends. I landed in Las Vegas, jet-lagged, hung around with a friend that night, went out, partied, did what you do. The next morning I went up and I went to an actual BNI. I said, I want to make sure this is a business trip, so I'll go to a BNI. So I went to this BNI, and it's Las Vegas, you know. They're like, oh, Australian, so nice to have you here, you know, this and that. And they're like, they swore someone in, and over there they actually put the hand on the book, the BNI book, and I swear to do the right thing by bit. And you go, oh, you Americans, you're something else, I tell you. Anyway, I did a little video spot with old mate afterwards. And anyway, he's a former Air Force traffic controller, retired, was into drone stuff. But anyway, he's like, hey, thanks for doing the video, man. What are you doing now? I go, oh, look, I'm a bit jet lagged and a bit sleepy, but I've got to just get a hire car and drive to Los Angeles, like 5 hours drive, I think, or 6 hours drive. Like, it's a long way. He says, we're going to go shoot guns in the desert. You want to come? I go, oh, you betcha. So they had this Jason Bourne type bloke that had done 3 tours in Afghanistan. We show him how to, you know, load a Glock and plug some targets from a distance. And then he handed me an AR-15, you know. It's like, oh, this is sweet, this thing, boof, 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 you know. So anyway, that's what happens at BNI when you take it on the road, yeah. I think I'm fairly unique in that experience. Anyway, that's where I'll wind up. Any other questions? Maybe we take them offline. Okay, thank you very much for listening. You can tell that I'm passionate about the subject. Hopefully you got something from it, yeah? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the eCentral Business Show. What we'd love you to do is subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and go look for other videos we're doing. If it's on some other channel like LinkedIn, where we love to talk to you and educate you through great episodes, then please follow and watch out for more episodes. We'll see you next time.